This is kind of like part two of shock replacement on a 2007 Saturn Sky. I just got through doing the rear shocks, and I wanted to point out the tips for that. So in my case of the front, I was replacing the entire assembly. In the case of the rear, these are the original springs and bearing plate and all the other hardware. I was just replacing the shock, the yellow shock itself. I won't get into the details of how that works. That's more generic in nature, common across many vehicles, so I'm not going to cover that. But I'm just going to cover the basics on how to get it out of here. Okay, in the case of the rears, there is a nut here and a nut here. You're going to need a box wrench. A ratcheting box wrench is ideal for that. For the front, the lowers is the same as in the front. They're 13 millimeter bolts with nuts on the back side. Now, what I did for safety's sake, I didn't want to damage any wiring, moving big wrenches and things. I disconnected the ABS electrical connector here, and then this bolt, it's a small little bolt, I removed it. That's a 10 millimeter head, and then I was able to just get this out of the way because I'm really still, like in the front, let's see here, in the back, I got to remove this bolt here, okay? Or nut, it's a nut. And so there's all this electrical stuff is in the way. I just didn't want to accidentally damage it with a wrench, so I just got that out of the way. So what's different with the rear is we have a rear outer tie rod, and so there's an 18 millimeter nut here. Just tap this. Once the nut is off, just tap this, and this will drop and swing out of the way. That allows, when this thing is loose, that allows it to pass through this hole here. This needs to drop down through this hole in order to clear the top. I didn't get into this, but on this one, I'm assuming you watched the first video. Like the front shocks, when you remove this 18 millimeter bolt here, you have to swing this arm up, up out of the way. It doesn't hit the fender liner. It actually bottoms out on this thing here. So, but you swing this up out of the way, the upper control arm. You swing this out of the way, and then the shock drops, and you're able to pull it out. And that's the dealio on that. So it's not a big deal. You don't get into the CV axle. You don't get into the brakes. All the brakes and CV axle stuff, and stabilizer, bar, end links, all of that, you just don't touch. There's no reason to tamper with any of that. So it is a little more work than the front, but a lot less work than I was led to believe. And that's the scoop.